Albert Pujols is without a doubt one of the greatest players to ever step foot on a baseball field. He's got 2 more weeks to reach the historic 700 home run mark, which has only been done by 3 other players in MLB history. Even if you're not a baseball stat nerd, Pujols' baseball reference page is one of the most interesting things you'll ever see, because he went from arguably the most dominant player of all time in St. Louis to the complete opposite in Los Angeles. Before I get into it, welcome back to the War Room, a channel where I discuss all things baseball related. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's get straight to it. One way of telling how consistently dominant a player has been is splitting their career. In order for me to explain what that means, we have to step outside the baseball world for a moment and look at other sports. For example, if you split NBA legend Kobe Bryant's career when he wore number 8 and wore number 24, he would still have 2 separate Hall of Fame careers in one. The greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady, actually has 3 Hall of Fame careers in one, if you compare stats from 3 different time periods. But this is certainly not the case for Pujols. So in this video, we're going to split his career between his first 11 years with the Cardinals and the next 10 years with the Angels. Pujols was drafted by the Cardinals in 1999 and made his MLB debut in 2001 at 21 years old, where he immediately became an absolute monster. In his rookie season, he had 37 home runs, 130 RBIs, a .329 batting average, and an OPS over 1,000. These numbers made him the unanimous Rookie of the Year winner, an All-Star, a Silver Slugger winner, and 4th place in the National League for Most Valuable Player. Not a bad first season, and this was only a glimpse of what was to come. In 2002, Pujols somehow wasn't an All-Star, but still finished second in NL MVP voting behind Barry Bonds. Next year, Pujols finished second to Bonds again as a 23-year-old, despite leading the league in runs, hits, doubles, batting average, and total bases. In 2004, he was a top 3 MVP candidate once again, and in 2005, he finally won his first MVP. The year after that, he was second in MVP voting once again, this time to Ryan Howard, but he also won his first World Series. 2007 was another good year. Then in 2008 and 2009, Albert won back-to-back MVPs, where he was leading the league in many offensive categories. In 2010, he was second in MVP voting once again, this time behind Joey Votto, and in his last year in St. Louis, he won the World Series for a second time. So let's just recap these 11 years. He was a Rookie of the Year, a 9-time All-Star, 6-time Silver Slugger, 3-time MVP, 4-time MVP runner-up, 2-time World Series champion. He had a .328 batting average, 445 home runs, 1,329 RBIs, an OPS of 1.037, 32 or more home runs 11 years in a row, a .312 or higher batting average 10 years in a row, and 103 RBIs or more 10 years in a row as well. In fact, the only season Pujols didn't have 30 home runs, a .300 batting average, and 100 RBIs was his last year with the Cardinals, where he only had 37 home runs, 99 RBIs, and a .299 batting average. This is a Hall of Fame career, and it only took Pujols 11 years to do it. He entered the 2011 offseason as a free agent and was set up to get paid a huge sum of money. On December 8th of that year, Pujols signed a 10-year, $254 million contract with the Los Angeles Angels. At the time, this was the second largest contract in the history of pro sports. You can imagine the hype that took place when a player of this caliber decided to sign with the Los Angeles team. Pujols was expected to be a perennial All-Star, compete for MVPs, and be the centerpiece of a championship Angels team. But little did everyone know that this deal would go down as one of the worst in all of sports history. Pujols was 32 years old in his first year in LA. I don't know if the city was a bad fit compared to St. Louis, or the money and hype got in his head, or maybe it was all of the above. But the dominant Albert Pujols that we saw for the last 11 years was nowhere to be found. His first season with the Angels, he had 30 home runs, 105 RBIs, and a career-low .285 batting average. He also had a career-low .859 OPS and a career-worst 17th in the league in MVP voting. Now, this isn't a bad season by any means, but it was the worst of his career at this point, which really just again shows how great he was before this. But unfortunately for Angels fans, this was one of the best seasons during his tenure with the team. His second season in LA, he suffered a season-ending injury on July 27th, playing only 99 games, so that whole year is just a throwaway. In 2014, he was again putting up solid home run and RBI numbers, but his slash line continued to decline. The year after was his first and only All-Star appearance as an Angel, and it was also his first and last season with 40 home runs. The next 5 years was really where his age began to show, and the contract was officially being considered a massive overpay. His batting average never got over 268, and his OPS never got over 780. After battling injuries with his old age, he couldn't consistently hit lots of home runs or drive in lots of runs. Pujols actually got cut from the team in 2021 after starting the season with a 198 batting average. You can't put any of the blame on Pujols for getting worse with age, it happens to everyone, but the gap between the player we saw in St. Louis versus the player in Los Angeles is tremendous and was really kind of hard to believe when you watched it unfold in real time. So now is the fun part where we get to compare the two careers. In Los Angeles, he had 1 All-Star Game appearance, 0 Silver Sluggers, 0 top 16 MVP years, 0 rings, 0 wins in the playoffs at all, a 247 batting average, 222 home runs, 783 RBIs, and an OPS of a 712. This decade would not be a Hall of Fame career, not even close. Pujols also only had 1 season where he hit more than 32 home runs, 0 seasons where he hit over 285, and 1 season with an OPS over 790. The story of Albert Pujols really is the tale of 2 careers. One where he's one of the most intimidating players of all time in the batter's box, versus one where he robbed the Angels of millions of dollars and was not even a top 50 player in the league. So as Pujols approaches 700 home runs this year, just imagine how much quicker he would have gotten there had his stint in Los Angeles not have been ruined by injuries and poor play on the field. Honestly, if his decade in Los Angeles was even just a little bit worse than it was in St. Louis, Albert Pujols will be pretty close to 800 or more career home runs at this point, and would probably be widely considered the greatest player of all time. But regardless, he will still go down as one of the game's legends, and he'll forever be immortalized in Cooperstown as a first ballot Hall of Famer. But I found it extremely interesting how different his career looked once he signed with Los Angeles. It was almost like seeing 2 different people step foot on the field, so I wanted to make a video about it, just comparing those 2 eras. But that pretty much wraps this one up. A lot of work went into this video, so thank you for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.